Please remain standing for the singing of the national anthem performed by Josh Ellis.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the clouds bursting in air gave proof through the night that a flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you, Josh. Great job singing the national anthem. Thank you to Mr. Geblein and his band for the fine job that they always do. To our distinguished guests, family members, parents, faculty, and staff, our superintendent, Mrs. Garrett, and our Board of Education members, welcome to Forestville's commencement ceremony for the graduating class of 2017. You may have a seat. Well, 13 years comes down to this. These seniors are ready to move on. I can remember back when these kids entered kindergarten. It was my first year at Forestville. Most of them were no taller than the height of my waist. Now look at them. Most of them are taller than me. I'd say they've grown a bit over the last 13 years. I remember speaking with some of you, their parents, at the start of their kindergarten year. You were sending your babies off to school for the very first time and you were terrified. I remember seeing more tears in your eyes than these little 5-year-olds at the time. I repeated to you over and over again, don't worry about them. You have prepared them well for kindergarten and they will be fine. Today, I say something very similar. Don't worry about them. We have prepared them well, and they will be fine. Before you knew it, it was time for kindergarten graduation. This is actually an excerpt from my speech back in 2004 to these seniors when they were 5 years old. So listen carefully as this message applies to today. As I stood up here as the elementary principal looking at these kindergartners, I said, most of these kids arrived in September wondering what they did wrong to have their parents send them off to such a terrible place, kindergarten. Although in a short time they settled in to new routines and realized that this kindergarten place could be fun. As time went on, they built new friendships, learned new and exciting things, and shared their talents and knowledge with their classmates. Now they find themselves at the end of their first year in school, ready to take on greater challenges, continue to build friendships, and make new friends, and mature into young ladies and gentlemen in the years to come. So let me rephrase part of that excerpt for our seniors today. As time went on, you built new friendships. You learned new and exciting things and shared your talents and knowledge with your classmates and your teachers. Now you find yourself at the end of a long 13-year journey, ready to take on greater challenges. Words cannot express how much I have enjoyed working with this group of seniors and you, the parents and guardians. You have been absolutely amazing. Seniors, you have prepared yourselves for today, but you have not done it alone. You have had loving parents, committed teachers, a supportive superintendent and Board of Education, and folks like our secretaries and counselors providing much needed guidance. I hope you understand that without them, today is not happening. Seniors, please stand and join me in thanking them for helping you get to this stage today. Okay, you may have a seat. And now, without further ado, on to the program. At this time, I would like to invite Trent Hartloff, our salutatorian, to the podium to deliver his salutatorian address.
I'm a little nervous, so bear with me. Hi, everybody. I hope you all are enjoying yourselves on this beautiful day. First, I would like to thank all the parents or grandparents or whoever raised all these beautiful people because you guys did an amazing job. Let's get a round of applause. It's just so crazy to think about how far we've come throughout the years. We've all changed so much. But now, we will be making a massive change as we are moving on into the next chapter of our lives. Now, I know this is scary. For 13 years since kindergarten, we have relied on the guidance of our peers, our parents, and the faculty here at Forestville. I know some of you will be furthering your education. This brings the tremendous challenge of college and grinding out year after year for a degree. Also, some of you will be going into the workforce. This brings the difficult task of getting up every weekday and working an 8-hour shift while being independent and self-sufficient. Lastly, a few of you are going into the military. This brings along the great honor and pressure of serving your country. All of these scenarios are quite different, but in each there is one similarity. We will never live life like we did here again. We will never have this complete reliance on our parents ever again, and we will never be able to be worry-free and live life this careless ever again. Now, this may be sad, but this is change, and change is inevitable. Change is a part of life, and it happens every single day. Change can be good, and it can be ugly, and it can be confusing. But where would we be today without change? What happens if we never change from birth? Well, this is a childish reference, but it's so true. Change, development after failure, and adaptation is what make us what we are today. I want to talk a little bit about how we respond to change or failure. Well, there are two things you can do when life knocks you down. You can do everything in your power to get back up, or you can stay down and complain about how everything isn't just going the way you wanted it to. This, my friends, is how a person's character is defined. If something awful happens, whether it's your fault or not, learn from this event. Don't use a bad situation as a gateway for pity, but as a pathway to better yourself. Everyone messes up. Use a mistake to mold yourself into someone that will never make that mistake again. Use a tragedy to learn and possibly try to prevent another from happening. My favorite quote says, "The darkest of nights make the brightest of stars." Allow yourself to change and let hard times make you a better person. Lastly, I want to talk about something that goes along with this theme of developing as a person. This is adaptation. Mostly all of us are going to be leaving for different places. This means new people, a new environment, and a new way of life. I'm not saying to adopt new beliefs or change your morals, but be accepting to change and new things. You're going to have to be willing to adapt to a new lifestyle. Some of us are going to have to stay up till 3 a.m. every night writing essays, but we will manage. Some of you will be going through boot camp, and some of you will be working 9 to 5. Yes, this is different and possibly scary, but I don't want a different environment and a new way of living to prevent you all from being successful. You are all probably sick of listening to me, so I'll wrap this up. I just want to say thank you to everyone here and everyone who has helped us along our journey throughout high school. And to my classmates, all of you are so unique and talented in your own way. Please never lose that. I also want all of you to embrace change, develop from your failures, and make the best of every situation. By doing all of this and trusting in yourselves, I believe you will all be very successful. Thank you for all the good times. It's been great. Good luck in your future, and do it for Dale.
Thank you, Mr. Hartloff. At this time, I would like to introduce our 2017 commencement speaker, the class of 1997 valedictorian, Mr. Lee Waterman.
Good afternoon. Before I begin, I'd like to thank this opportunity to continue the thank yous of the administration, the Board of Education, and all the teachers, mentors, and especially parents who have helped guide all these young men and women to this very moment. Most importantly, I'd like to thank the graduating class of 2017 for this honor and apologize that I will be delaying your graduation by approximately 14 minutes. Don't worry, your diplomas will still be waiting for you when we're done. When I was first asked to give this commencement address and shared the news with my husband, his first comment, or rather text message back, was what I assumed was in jest. Are you going to give a colleges for squares speech? For those of you who took a moment to browse the program before tucking it away for your scrapbook, you may have come upon the bio that I uncomfortably wrote, as I really don't like talking about myself, and maybe should have thought about that before accepting this honor. Regardless, all bios are supposed to be kind of semi-boastful, without seeming pompous, and you may have gotten the gist that one could say, been fairly successful in life, and that I've had an extensive college, goody two-shoe, overachiever, geek-like education and background that led me there. After all, I do continue to push the edges of my business card, and I'm in the process of adding at least another or so dozen letters after my name, just because. So when the 80s movie flashback of giving a speech on Is College for Squares came up, you may find it surprising that someone who has dedicated himself to expanding his knowledge through education, when asked if I was going to give a Colleges for Squares speech, I responded, well, sort of. For those of you who know me well, and you've had a similar conversation, you would not find this a surprise. You see, I find where I've excelled in life has been pursuing my non-architectural passions over the course of practicing architecture, using my high-tech interests to push technology to improve my industry, or using my creative side to publish coloring books, or my business interests to purchase, rehab, and rent real estate. The latter arguably most closely relying on my architectural education, but nevertheless inspired by several books, not my formal college education. In other words, not what I was educated for, but perhaps with a work ethic and curiosity kindled by my education. Therefore, on more than one occasion, I have pondered the proverbial chicken and egg question. Would I have been as successful as I am today without my college education? As a fair warning, it's not my intent to resolve that question in today's speech, but rather I wanted to give you a sense of where my values are rooted. To put this into context, you may know a few other fairly successful individuals that did not attend university. Steve Jobs, the late co-founder of Apple, did pretty well for himself as being a college dropout. Richard Branson, a dyslexic high school dropout, founded the well-known Virgin brands. Virgin Airways, Virgin Records, Virgin Galactic. He's worth almost $5 billion today, and more importantly, basically has a rocket ship. So, Rachel Ray Cook authored an otherwise business way to success without any formal qualifications in those fields. And a quick Google search, as I did, will come up with hundreds of household names. Even my husband only finished a semester of college and has a well-paying, secure job in the health insurance industry and has never had an issue finding appropriate employment, even when the economy's been in rough shape. He's even edited several best-selling books on the side. So, is college for squares? Before I could answer this definitively, with my great college education, I actually had to look up the modern definition of square. And Merriam-Webster assisted in letting me know it's a person who is conventional or conservative in taste or way of life. In my speak, a person who wants to play it safe. So is it safe to go to college? I grew up in Forestville too. I know many of my friends had varying backgrounds. Some of us had college-educated parents who pushed us to go even farther than they did. Some of us who had parents who had not have even graduated high school and spent their entire parenthood making sure their kids had access to more opportunities than they ever did. For many of us, it was ingrained in us from birth that we would attend a university or became ingrained through peer pressure. For these individuals, college became a fact of life. In essence, the conventional approach to education and the safe, conservative next step after this moment. Is college for squares then? By Webster's definition, yes, sort of. Now, with all the parents and educators in the back who just had a heart attack, I'm not saying to not go to college. This is where it's important to emphasize I'm not suggesting continuing your education is not necessary. Rather, the way that you accomplish it may be differently suited for each unique individual. So come back from your days of daydreaming about laying out on the beach or playing video games 7 days a week. Education is what will make you successful. How you educate yourself is up to you. Some of you, as I've seen, may have been accepted in the university and in 2 or so months are off to begin the what you want to do when you grow up dream that you've had since you had that, were asked that question. Some of you may have decided to take some time off and travel and find yourself. Some of you seems to have found interest in skilled trade that you were exposed to, and quite honestly will probably end up making more than most of us in the next 10 years. Some of you may be following in a family business. Some of you may have chosen to serve your country, and I'd like to personally thank you. Some of you may be sitting here not knowing what you're doing tomorrow. And if you're all really honest with yourselves, most of you are probably terrified of what comes next. And all of this is okay as long as you push yourself and continue to grow. 20 years ago, I was standing here on this stage, destined to attend the university I chose to commit myself to 5 years of one of the top architectural education programs in the country. I'd worked hard my entire life and began receiving scholarships in my junior year. By this point, I more or less had a free ride to an education that would cost me nearly $350,000 if I were to attend today. I refused to squander this opportunity. I was already cautioned about the strenuous path to an education of this caliber and would go on to literally sleep 4 or so hours every other night, often skipping the sleep on a weeknight or two to have a real college experience. I spent my summers working as an architect and studying and traveling throughout Europe and the United States. I would end up graduating a semester early at the top of my architectural class. I was given a free education, and it was not wasted. I didn't wander for several expensive years, not knowing what I was going to major in, or getting a meaningless degree with no applicable careers. I was fortunate to know I wanted to be an architect and dedicated my education to it. That education will allow me to immediately enter my field in San Francisco. Shortly thereafter, I would find my first dream job working for an alum of my university. At this well-known firm, I'll be getting my work published, and I worked my way up the ladder to firm leadership and ownership. We mainly did high-end corporate interior architecture, the kind of places you walk in and they scream money and success. Law firms, investment firms, .com companies, and I even designed for a little-known movie director, George Lucas. As an architect, I got to see and know their inner workings, what made their company successful, and their industry secrets. This was an exclusive education that I would not have had access to had I not become an architect. One of the companies I'll develop very close connections with would be Autodesk. Today, they're the Microsoft or Apple of the design and construction software world. We will begin to collaborate with each other to develop a new approach to building design and documentation. 15 years later, this would be credited with revolutionizing the industry. I had no formal education in software technology, but this was fueled my passion for up-and-coming high-tech fads of the day. As this collaborative success grew, without my knowledge, my name would begin to float throughout the industry. I would ride this wave for several years, fending off recruiters and blind job offers from global giants, and eventually starting my own consulting firm. Did college education lead me here? My architectural degree gave me the context I needed to excel in this area, helped tone my critical thinking skills and work ethic, but I was drawing from a passion of technology and efficiency, ideas that were and are at the core of my being and placed there long before college. So here I was, a square, a college-educated square. I had reached the point of conventional success. By this time, I achieved every single goal I had set for myself in high school and college. I was done with this conservative approach, ready to round out my square corners and explore other passions. I loved architecture and didn't want to practice more, and did want to practice more, but also didn't want to practice until the day I died. This required a different approach, and my college education was not what was going to get me there. A few years earlier, my dad had given me a book about passive income, the concept of investing time and money in a way that will continue to pay you without continuous effort. I would continue to read and self-educate myself more in this area, quickly deciding investment property was the area I wanted to explore. I'd gotten the HGTV bug that ate at my creative side, which had originally drawn me into the architectural field. I read everything I could get my hands on in this area, educating myself on any related aspects of investment property I could find, even to the point of learning how to leverage third-party money as your own sweat equity. In other words, not needing to have loads of money to get into the game. A few years later, with lots of hard work, and evenings and weekends spent swinging a hammer, my husband and I have grown our real estate portfolio enough to comfortably know we could have walk away from our desk jobs at any time. Similarly, I would go on to discover the concept of royalties. You know, those things the movie and TV industry are always complaining about. Making money on the reuse of something you created. In my case, my creativity has recently been put to the use creating and publishing coloring books. A hard and laborious effort, but therapeutic. As long as they keep selling, I keep getting paid. My college education got me to where I am today, but maybe I could have just as easily started investing in making adult coloring books 15 years earlier with my work ethic, discipline, and curiosity I learned growing up on a farm here in Forestville. I chose my path. I chose to be a square, a round square, and I'm happy here. The important part is that you find out the shape that you really are, not necessarily what shape you have been molded into. Use your passion to guide your success and seek out ways to educate yourself to get there. And most importantly, never stop learning. Thank you again, and congratulations, class of 2017. I swear your diplomas are still there.
Thank you, Mr. Waterman. I love the message. Conventional education is important, but the most important thing is that you're educated and that you follow your passion in life. So thank you again. So at this time, I would like to call Mrs. Lori Becker on the stage to begin the awards portion of our program.
The Ann G. Kroll Memorial Scholarship. Ann Kroll was my grandmother. She was secretary to the principal here at Forestville for many years. My family and I are honoring her memory with this award. It is being presented to a senior who is pursuing a career related to the business field and who's demonstrated a sense of loyalty, trust, and sincerity to his field, peers, teachers, and school. The recipient for the class of 2017 is Bruce Kaus III. Dr. Julie Richter Memorial Scholarship. The family of my sister, the late Dr. Julie Richter, is honoring her memory with an annual scholarship. Julie was the valedictorian of Forestville's class of 1985 and continued her education at Cornell University, earning both her bachelor's degree and doctorate in veterinary medicine. Julie was the exotic animal specialist at the Howes Cave Animal Hospital near Cobleskill, which she and her husband owned. My sister passed away on June 6, 2006, after a 3.5-year battle with cancer. Being the co-advisor For the class of 2017, I'm lucky to have had the opportunity to work closely with this fine young man, as well as traveling with him to Boston this year and Ecuador last year. So, on behalf of our family, I'm honored to present this year's scholarship of $1,000 to the class of 2017 valedictorian Jared Locke. At this time, I would like to introduce Mrs. Alersa Henry to present the FTA scholarship.
Thank you, Mrs. Becker. So I'm here to present the Forestville Teachers Association Scholarship. We will be awarding a scholarship to a student that has been accepted into a 4-year college and will major in education. So let me be the first to say congratulations. The $500 award goes to the future best band teacher ever, Emily Merrill. And next, I would like to introduce Cindy Bach-Cataldo to present the William and Betty Bach Memorial Scholarship.
Thank you. The winner of the William and Betty Bach Memorial Scholarship is Austin Pierce.
Okay, moving along with the other awards. The J. Carter Knapp Unit 953 American Legion Auxiliary Award is given to a senior who consistently demonstrates citizenship. This year's recipient is Shelby Smith. The Sandra Jean Memorial Award is given to a senior who is planning on pursuing a career in the medical profession or health-related field. This year's award goes to Gabrielle Gadewaltz. The Christy Caldwell Merit Scholarship Award is given to a graduating senior who has been accepted by a 2- or 4-year institution of higher learning and has been an active member of the Forestville Central School Band Program. This year's award goes to Emily Merrill. The Putnam Record Insurance Agency is awarding a scholarship to a senior who is continuing his or her education in the business field. This award goes to Brett Weaver. The Pioneer Social Club Award. This award is given to the 3rd highest average in the senior class. This year's award goes to Austin Pierce. The Beatrice Kupaczynski Award. This award is given to a senior who is a deserving and hardworking student going into a business or medical field. This year's award goes to Trent Hartloff. The Kiwanis Club of Silver Creek is awarding a scholarship to a graduating senior based upon his or her community service and their intentions to continue their education following graduation. This year's $500 recipient is Jared Locke. The Forestville Sackett Scholarship is given in memory of Herbert Sackett, who was a former Forestville student and resident. The Sackett Scholarship is given annually to the valedictorian. This year's recipient is Jared Locke. The Herman and Jesse Warner Scholarship is awarded annually to the salutatorian of the class. This year's recipient is Trent Hartloff. The Hanover Community Chamber of Commerce is awarding a $250 scholarship to an outstanding business student who is furthering his or her education in the field of business. The award goes to Trent Hartloff. The Olivia Koya Scholarship Fund was established in 2012 to honor the late Olivia Koya, who passed away in 2010 from triple-negative breast cancer. This scholarship is to support those who give their time to assist others in the community, as Olivia did. The recipients will each receive a $500 award. This year's recipients are Allison Kaminsky and Jared Locke. The Valen and Lynn A. Hawkins Scholarship is an award given to a graduating senior who resides in the town of Sheridan and who is furthering his or her education at SUNY Fredonia. This year's award recipient of $2,100 is Sierra Lattimore. The Lucille T. Valvo Memorial Scholarship is given to a graduating Forestville senior that displays good character and citizenship and who is majoring in a business-related field with a B or greater GPA. This award is presented to Trent Hartloff. The Marian Valvo Heaney Scholarship is an award given to two graduating seniors based on their GPA, career goals, recommendations, and extracurricular activities. This year's $500 recipients are Emily Merrill and Joshua Ellis. The Quixote Award is a $1,000 award given to a deserving senior that has taken Spanish 5. The award is given in memory of the late Kay Condon Panic. Kay was a Spanish teacher for over 35 years. This year's award goes to Jared Locke. The Forestville Parent Connection Awards are given to candidates who maintain high academics and have participated in community service activities for at least 2 years in high school and during the previous year. The 2 award winners are Jared Locke and Trent Hartloff. The 6th annual Forestville Fall Festival Community Service Award is given to a student based upon their citizenship and community service. This award is given to Emily Merrill. The Forestville class of 1967 is awarding a $2,000 scholarship to a graduating senior that displays citizenship, participates in community service, and is an all-around good person. This year's recipient is Joshua Ellis. And now for a special award that did not make your programs. This award is titled the Bass Angler Award, also known as the Gone Fishing Award. This award is given to a student who holds the record for the most incredible fish stories in a school year. The award goes to Calvin Stambro. So, congratulations to all of our award recipients. At this time, I would like to ask the seniors who play an instrument in the band to join your bandmates and Mr. Gebline in the pit for your final performance as a Forestville Central School student. Mr. Gevline and the band, for the amazing musical selection. Aren't they great? So at this time, it is my pleasure to invite Jared Locke to the podium to deliver the valedictorian address.
Good afternoon and welcome. I've thought long and hard about what I wanted to say here today. I would ask all the people I thought could give me some good insight on what to say, what I should say. And the answers range from just try to inspire them to say, do it for Dale. Thanks, Troy. Either way, most of the suggestions were not exactly what I was looking for. And then I realized it doesn't really matter what I say, because within a few minutes or a few months, everyone will likely forget everything that I've said. For those few that actually take some of the things I say with them as they leave here today, I will try to endow you with as much wisdom as I can. And for those who just want to get their diplomas and leave, I'll try to do it quickly. I'm not going to give you a sappy recount of all our experiences here in high school. It is what it is. There were good times and bad times, and more terribly awkward and embarrassing times than we'd like to admit. But we haven't come to the end of that. Life is full of ups and downs, and if anything, they just get more serious after high school. The common theme for speeches at graduation is the end of the beginning, or even the beginning of the rest of your life. That sounds inspiring and calls people to take life seriously and be motivated to live better or whatever it is they want to do, but that's just not true. It's not the end of the beginning or the beginning of anything else. This is just a milestone, and a fairly insignificant one at that. Life doesn't begin after high school, it just continues. Every day, from the beginning of our lives up until our final days, we make decisions that define us. Throughout this past year, I got asked the same question quite often that I'm sure my fellow classmates got as well. The infamous, what are you doing after high school? Now, I don't know about anyone else, but this question stressed me out. Trying to decide on a college and figure out what was the right choice, even though they all sound so great, and then also having to deal with tons of homework, mostly JCC English, took its toll on me. There was actually at least one night where I remember breaking down in tears. I'm pretty sure it was just all the teenage hormones mixed with having to deal with everything at once and making these decisions that supposedly affect your entire life. And for some, it was different decisions, like enlisting in the Navy or going straight into the workforce. So then I decided to trust the Lord with that and know that He has a plan for me and all of us here. I realized that what I do has little importance in my life. Most of you are thinking, did I hear him right? Did he really just say that what I do doesn't affect my life? Well, let me explain. In the beginning of the year, I gave a short little speech that most of you probably didn't listen to, but in it, I talked about having good character. Our attitude and the way we treat others is what matters. Getting a great job, making lots of money, and being successful, all the things people think will make them happy, that's all great, but that makes less of an impact on your life than you think. How you react to whatever situation you're faced with or put in, and loving others is the thing that affects your life. In the words of Captain Jack Sparrow, the problem is not the problem is your attitude about the problem. Every day we're going to be faced with inconveniences just like we were in high school. People are going to cross us and cause us distress. Dealing with it lovingly and with a good attitude says more about us than our job, where we went to school, or any amount of success ever will. Also, in Philippians 2:3, it says, "Do nothing from selfish ambition or conceit, but in humility count others more significant than yourselves." If you stop thinking about yourselves and start thinking of others, those day-to-day problems won't even faze you. This is about as much wisdom as I can give without preaching at you, and this is all done in the seemingly small decisions we'll make every day and have been making for the past 13 years of school. At the end of the day, our character is what will be remembered, and it's shaped by those everyday decisions, like not running the guy who sits in the left lane off the road, or forgiving your friend even when they do something incredibly stupid, and not by those big decisions we've all been worried about for the past couple of years. If there's one piece of advice I can leave with you today, it's this. Don't let the world's idea of success define what you do or how you live from here on out, because there's a much higher calling than that. God bless, and thank you all for coming, and always remember, do it for Dale.
Thank you. At the beginning of the year, Jared stood in front of all the students, not just the senior class, and he really did send a message that I think resonated throughout this entire year about students doing the right thing and practicing good character. And it takes a lot of courage, I think, for a student to get up there when they get that microphone and you want to start the year on a good note and they're typically going, hoorah, and all this stuff. Very mature, get up there, get the microphone and say, hey, we're going to have a good year. Senior class, let's lead by example. Let's remember everything that we've learned in this district and let's apply it this year. And I will say, Jared, thank you for that because we did have an amazing year. So thank you. Well, now it's time for the diplomas. Would Mrs. Carol Woodward, the president of the school board, and our superintendent, Mrs. Garrett, make your way up to the stage? Are you guys ready? Yeah, I think they are. Nice. Ready for what? Now, just a little bit of housekeeping, just to remind the graduates, we do have a photographer over there, so pick up your diploma, give a nice smile to the photographer, and then make your way back to your seat. So, first row, please stand. Jared Locke. Trent Hartloff. Austin Pierce. Matthew Newman. Joshua Ellis. Gabrielle Gadewaltz. Abraham Troska. Allison Kaminsky. Emily Gazowski. Kyle Goodrich. You may seat. And second row. Eric Anders. Charles Benninger IV. Jonathan Botsford. Brett Bushman. Carly Campaign. Dakota Esperson. Dakota Fisher. Rebecca Gilman. Jasmine Gould. Amanda Hanley. Bruce Kaus III. Sierra Lattimore. Jessica Mays. Jordan McKay. Second row, please have a seat. Third row, please rise. Dakota Meinzer. Jasmine Love. Emily Merrill. Sophia Miles. Liam O'Brien. Nicholas Obrachta. Kendra Russell. Brandon Smith. Shelby Smith. Julisa Soto. Calvin Stambro. Troy Torsell. Hannah Verrett. And Brett Weaver. At this time, I would ask the students on the stage to please stand. Yes, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my distinct pleasure to introduce the Forestville Central Schools class of 2017. if the graduates would please remain standing, if there are any parents that would like to get out of their seats and get a good shot, we'll give you a minute or so to do that. So graduates, put on your best smiles. Seniors, you can have a seat. I did have a senior come up to me in the library before we came out here and said, "Hey, Mr. Grandi, you know, we started at the same time. That was 13 years ago. We're graduating. We're getting out of here. You have to stay." Yeah. I've got a few more years before I get to graduate here. So again, congratulations. And again, I could not thank the parents, the faculty, our Board of Education, and everyone that has supported this group of students over the years enough for what they've done. Mr. Gebline, an amazing job with the band. Mr. Murphy up in the, what I call the crow's nest up there, and he always hates when I do this, but you know, all this is streaming live, and we'll have, 3 months from now when you want to watch the video, make sure that your child really did graduate. You can go back and watch it. And it has the ability to fast forward through some of the stuff that I'm talking about, and you can actually see your kid get his diploma. So all that technology, we thank Mr. Murphy and everyone for everything that they do. And yeah. I would also like to thank our senior class advisors. I know you, the parents, think they did an amazing job, and so do I, and so do these kids. So your senior class advisors, what do you guys think? Nice job? And the very last one, my Vanna White. Where is she? Mrs. Hazelton. Oh, not Mrs. Garrett. Mrs. Garrett always likes to get on the stage. Any excuse to get on the stage. Oh, there she
We'd
goes.
like to thank Mr. Grandi for all that he's done for these students for the last 13 years.
All right, we're under 5 minutes here before these kids are outside releasing the balloons. But before we do that, I have a couple announcements that I would like to make. The guests here, the faculty, our Board of Education, our commencement speaker, and any other guests that we have, it's tradition that you get to leave out this door here and line up in the hallway so that when the graduates process out and they come through, you have one last opportunity as a group to congratulate them. So the parents and guests, you are more than welcome to come out and watch the festivities outside, and there are some refreshments. What happens outside, the seniors go out there, they're given a balloon, we have a countdown, they release the balloon. There's no rain out there today, so that's good. And then our senior class, upperclassmen get to go over to the well for one more time and get to ring the bell in Forestville, and then it's officially done. So I would invite all of you to join us out there. After the graduates process out, if you could just use the 2 exits and then cart to the right, to the left, follow the corridors and go out the back, and then meet us where like the swing sets are. So again, thank you to everyone for everything that they've done. It's been an amazing year, and these kids have had an amazing ride over the last 13 years. Graduates, would you please rise?
still shine tomorrow. So it's time for moving on. There's not a second for sorrow. Even though the moment's gone, the puzzle is many pieces, but you can't hide. This life just keeps on living, and sooner or later you'll find this is not the end. No, your day's gonna come. This is not the end. No, you're not the only one. We all have ups and all the downs, but we have to find a way around. This is not the end. No, this is not the end. Now I know it's never easy to pick yourself up again. Take a deep breath as you move on. It's time to look ahead. Into a better tomorrow. You leave yesterday behind. This is not the end. No, your day's gonna come. This is not the end. No, you're not the only one. We all have our ups and all have our downs, but we have to find a way around. This is not the end. No, this is not the end. Don't ever give up, no.
Future GQ model for sure. Oh, Joe!
It's just the start now. Don't ever give up, no. It's just the start now.
Bye, Aunt Tammy.
Didn't you bring Dakota?
Your day's gonna come. This is not the end. No, you're not the only one. We all have our ups and all have our downs, but we have to find a way around. This is not the end. No, this is not the end. It's just the start now. We all have ups and all have our downs, but we have to find a way around. This is not the end. No, this is not the end.
I've heard it said that people come into our lives for a reason, bringing something we must learn. Well, I don't know if I believe that's true, but I know I'm who I am today because I knew you.
Like a ship blown from its mooring by a wind off the sea, like a seed dropped by a skybird in a distant wood. Who can say if I've been changed for the better? But because I knew you,
Because I knew you,
I have been changed for good. And just to clear the air, I ask forgiveness for the things I've done you blame me for.